I remember once when I was in kindergarten that my teacher gave the class an assignment every day to complete. Every day we had to color within the lines. For each new day, we had a new picture: an ant for A bear for B, a cat for C, and so on. Well, I never could color within those lines. I knew an ant was black, so I smothered that ant a frenzy coat of black, just as I covered my bear brown, along with the page. But then I got to lion for L, and I was moving my gold crown like a madman, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, when suddenly my hand stopped. Right within the drawn line on the lion's back, I exclaimed, "Look, look!" Everyone in the room turned to look at me with wonder in their little pools. I screamed, "I colored in the lines! I colored in the lines!" The three kids sitting at the table, Jason, Carly, and Amber, stood up and stared at my messy lion. Jason yelled at me, "No, you didn't." I yelled, "Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Look at the lion's back." I pointed to the minute singular portion on the lion's back where my crown streak did not cross into the white background. Jason stared, then yelled, "I don't see anything, Nathan. You are crazy." Jason sat back down. Everyone thought I was crazy, but I knew. I knew the revolution that had just seized my fingertips. From that day on, I always tried to color and stay within the lines. Nobody seemed to care, though. You were expected to color within the lines. I still remember Jason, Carly, and Amber, though. Jason became a pro basketball athlete and makes $1 million a year. Carly is a hard-working registered nurse in a hospital in Georgia and is currently pregnant. Amber won 2 silver Olympic medals and trains 8 hours a day. And I'm living in Los Angeles studying film and writing this.
Welcome to The Biggest Unknowns, the TV show that brings you big talent with little recognition. And right after the break, your host, Danny Hernandez.
Cozy is sexy. Only at Victoria's Secret. Experience it.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Biggest Unknown. Here we have Nathan Stapleton, straight up from Ohio, visiting us here in California. So Nathan Stapleton, tell me, is it illegal to get a fish drunk in the state of Ohio?
I haven't had any of my friends arrested for something like that, but it wouldn't surprise me. They have a lot of silly laws, I think.
Now, what are one of the silly laws now that you're talking about them? What's a silly law in the state of Ohio?
Well, I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, but I just remember when I was in elementary school and stuff, all these teachers would always tell me like it was illegal to throw snowballs at people's face. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just, I don't know. That's silly to me.
Well, see, here in California, it doesn't really snow.
Oh.
So I don't...
That's why I moved here.
We would, I think as Californian people, we would love to throw snowballs at people. But I see you're a filmmaker and you're a talented writer. But tell me about your family. I really want to know more about your background. Tell me about your family and how you grew up. How was that?
I would say I had a pretty happy childhood. My father is a used car salesman. My mother was a cosmetologist for 15 years, turned X-ray technician. She's an X-ray technician now for the last 8 years. Most of my family on both sides are used car salesmen, so my background, I don't even know a lot about cars, but mostly everyone in my family are used car salesmen, so that's pretty. I come up from a pretty low-income rural family from Ohio. I'm from New Carlisle, Ohio. It's a small town with a population of about 2,000 people, about an hour from Columbus. And it was just a really simple lifestyle. I grew up a really simple rural lifestyle. I had a cornfield in the back of my house, and I would just read a lot. I mean, that's kind of where my family background's coming from.
Wow, 2,000 people. My high school had 2,500 people.
Wow.
So you say you came from being your family being a car salesman and then working with cars, but yet here you are a filmmaker and a writer who has no experience or ideas in cars, how exactly did you come about doing that? I mean, where did the influence or the inspiration come from?
I think it all started when I was really young. I was I don't know. I started taking film seriously around 6th grade. I didn't have the technology. No one in my town knew what editing was. I didn't even know what Final Cut Pro was till a year ago. I just started watching film obsessively in 6th grade. My uncle, who lives in Florida, his name's Greg, he would, every time I came down to Florida to visit with my family, as my mother's a brother, he just had all these strange movies that he would show me. I would just look at his bookshelf, and they were so interesting. Like he would show me Spartacus or the old Dracula from the 30s. He would show me Kurosawa films, Japanese 50s, samurai flicks. He started showing me silent film, and I always looked up to him and thought he was cool, so I wanted to like what he liked. And then I started getting exposed to all this underground world cinema at a young age, and I got hooked. And then when I went back to Ohio, I started just looking for everything myself, and I started watching Ingmar Bergman and Fellini films. And by the time I got to high school, I was watching stuff that no one even heard of in my town, and I realized this is what I wanted to do. So it's just a totally independent thing. I just wanted to do it. I just got hooked.
So are you into like the Hollywood classic type of films? Or are you more of like a, because you were mentioning some filmwork, are you very like that indie experimental feel, or like how do you think your work is? Like if you would say your work is something, do you say it's more of like an experimental film, or more of like the narrative, like there's a story?
Personally, I mean, I like Hollywood classic films. I love all film. My inspiration is from every type of filmmaking, but the type of output and the work that I make all does have a certain piece in common, and I feel it's very inspired by horror elements and experimental film. I don't really like using the word experimental film because like music videos could be experimental. You're just experimenting, but I would say that my film would be dark, surreal pieces is what I would describe them. They're usually all inspired from dreams I've had and certain filmmakers that I really admire, like David Lynch and stuff. I take my dreams and I try to make something that's kind of mine. So I guess, yeah, it would fit into the independent experimental section.
Now, you said dreams, and do you ever write, I'm seeing that you have books here.
Yeah.
Are most of these books part of your dreams, or do you wake up in the middle of the night and write down your dreams, and do you make them into stories? Do you make them into short poems? Like exactly, talk to us about the books you've written. And what they're about, and the ideas that came from, and how long it took you to write them.
Well, what you said is pretty much what I do. These are collections of random ideas I get in my head, poems, dream notes. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. That doesn't happen very often. Usually I wake up right in the morning and I'll write down what my dream is. I'll write it down very fast because you're still in a dream-like state when you wake up, and you can still get it down, but if you go up to the bathroom and use the bathroom, you're already in physical waking consciousness, and you can't write your dream down anymore. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them are my dreams. I would take those notes and make films out of those. First, before I decide to make a film, I'll decide out what the meaning is and how it's relevant to my life. And then I'll write down poems. But all of these here are ideas for films, dreams I've had, poems from those, songs I've written down from dreams, etc. And how long it took to write them. This one, say for instance, I started this one on March 13th, 2011. The last entry that I had here was August 24th, 2011. So that one took about 9 months to do.
Nathan, I've heard that you've been working on something really really ordinary, like something really different, something probably even really big for you, which is your upcoming film. Tell me, what's it about? What inspired you for it?
The film that I am still in the process of post-production is called Diksha, and it's my portfolio film here that's going to be showing on December 15th. But it's obviously more than that to me. I plan to send it to short film festivals to see how it does. But what it's about, it's a 7-minute experimental tale about a couple and their loss of innocence and their connection to God through their first sexual encounter. Is the easiest way that I can describe it. But it's a lot of other things as well. But that's predominantly what it's about. How I got to come up with it. Like I mentioned before to you, I write down all my dreams in my journal. I remember one all the way I had back in March. I didn't know what it was. Is I wrote down me and my lover Amanda are in this wide, expansive room, and we have white T-shirts on. We're just staring at each other, and I looked down, and written in foreign letters on my T-shirt and fire was just some foreign letter. I didn't know what it was. Ultimately, in the next couple of months, when I started thinking about it, I came to realize it was the term diksha in Sanskrit, and what that means is, in Sanskrit, a connection with God, or it's a process between two monks where a guru cleanses the disciples of his sins. So I mean, it's very interesting, and what's even more interesting is like you're not only a filmmaker, you also play guitar, and you're also a songwriter. But we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and when we return, we're gonna hear one of the songs that you've written, which is called "Dark Room," I believe, and I can't wait to see that.
I have a craving for McDonald's McNuggets. Yes, is what I'm about to eat. Woo! Tender and juicy, all white meat. Choosing from a 4, 6, or 10 piece. But I'm so hungry, I might have a 20-piece. Yummy. Dip bean sauce that make me say ooh. Yeah. Sweet and sour ranch and the barbecue. Can't wait to get a hold of my McNuggets. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it.
And we are back to the biggest unknown. Now we're gonna move on to Nathan Stapleton, who's gonna play us one of his new songs called "Dark Room."
Thank you, Danny. This song's called "Song from a Dark Room." I wrote it a couple of years ago. Strawberries, shades of play soon begin to slip away. You find yourself by yourself and you realize it's just another day. Does she still remember times like these, when the birds in the sky and the ants in the dirt and the moles in the holes, running horses in the field filled our sense, and every pour I do, it's what I miss the most. Reading the tombstones and laying by the graves. I remember everything, even little things. I remember the tears and laughter and everything we used to chase after. I remember the car rides and diners and every song we sang together. I always played out of tune. Then we'd go for a walk and stare at the moon. Oh, I was playing the fool and loving it. Feelings of the sublime in my mind. A ticking time bomb that never shined, and a flower that did never bloom. A lost child without a balloon. A blind man who lost his spotted dog, sealed away into a case. I am far away from this wretched place. I am outside looking in, at a place where I've never been. Well, you're doing all right, and I'm doing just fine. Well, I'm probably gonna be leaving soon, but I can see you got a whole lot going for you. It's only a perspective, not a fact, so just enjoy things I say and how I act. All I ask is not to forget the times we had and the times
we spent, the meals we digested, the bullets we deflected, the barbed wire always around us, under the blankets and beneath the sheets. It was always alright with me. I'd like to thank you for everything, because I'd be a liar if I didn't say it was the best time of my life. It was the best time of my life.
Nathan, that was really great. Thank you very much for that amazing song. There you have it again, Nathan Stapleton singing Dark Room. And thank you again for watching The Biggest Unknowns. See you next time.